Hello, I'm Xiaoling and this is Warframe. A little late you might say. Yes, this game came out 3 years ago, I know. And I was aware of it back then, but I suppose I never paid attention to it. It just kind of slipped under my radar. At any rate, I finally decided to check it out about a week ago, and I just can't seem to stop playing it. So I figured I'd make a video, explain a little bit about the game. And I say a little because there's so many aspects to this game, I don't think there's any way that I'm going to be able to cover everything in this one video. And I'm also going to give you guys my impressions of the game as well so far. So what is Warframe? Well, it's a free-to-play third-person action game with shooting, melee combat, space combat, crafting, upgrades, leveling and looting. I'll talk a little bit more about the game mechanics themselves when we get to the gameplay section. We'll start off with the story first. So you play a Tenno, which is a descendant of an ancient mystical civilization of warriors from the Orokin era on Earth. You've basically been preserved in a cryopod for centuries and are woken up to a new era of war. And you're awakened by someone by the name of Lotus, and she's asking you to tackle a variety of missions to sort of help maintain the balance between the Grineer and the Corpus, which are the two factions in the game, and to quell infestation across a large number of different planets. As I mentioned in the beginning of the review, the game was released 3 years ago, so graphically the game looks a bit dated. It doesn't have the fidelity that the new titles have, obviously. It doesn't look bad though, although some of the levels do appear a little washed out, kind of lacking sort of depth or complexity, but I don't really think it deters from the gameplay experience itself. There are a different number of environments in the game to keep things fresh and interesting. The character models are good and relatively detailed and animated very well, and I think the game's performance is excellent as well. So even when the screen is full of different enemies, there isn't really any slowdown. Sound wise, the game also does a good job. There's plenty of variety with different sound effects for all the weapons, and there are a lot of weapons in the game. All the different races have different comments and dialogue that they spurt out in combat depending on what faction they're from. And so, that keeps things interesting as well. The music is decent. The music actually reminds me a lot of Mass Effect 1's intro theme, as well as Day 6 series of games. Okay, so let's get to the meat of the game. The gameplay. Where do I even start? When you start the game, you choose one of 3 Warframes. The Warframe is essentially a class and determines what powers you'll have access to. Some are support, some are casters, some are better at close combat, and that kind of thing. You'll have access to a primary weapon, so rifles, shotguns, bows, that kind of thing. A secondary weapon, which are various pistols or dual pistols, throwing stars and the like. And a melee weapon, so that's either single or dual swords, staffs, axes, gloves, etc. In any combat situation, you'll have access to all of these weapons, as well as your Warframe's actual abilities, and there's 4 of them. The playstyle of the Warframe will be dependent on the powers of that Warframe, as well as the weapons that you choose to go with. So there's a massive amount of selections when it comes to your primary, secondary, and melee weapons. A massive amount. And for the most part, they all play and feel quite different from one another. And in addition to all the weapon variation you have, your guy can basically sprint and slide and glide and wall run. You basically feel like a badass when you're traveling around the level. And combine that with the ability to bash and slash your enemies or gun them down in a variety of satisfying ways, or if you just prefer to use your Warframe powers. Everything in the combat in this game just feels spot on. It really does feel great. The weapons have a great sense of impact. The way the enemies ragdoll after getting hit or getting dismembered feels very satisfying. Your Warframe can sprint and bullet dive and slide all over the place. You can even double jump. And you really feel like a ninja when playing this game. When you kill your enemies, they drop loot, which consists of ammo for various weapons, crafting resources, and most importantly mods, which I will talk about in a little bit. There are a variety of mission types in the game, just from exterminating all the enemies on a map, or sneaking in to hack computers, defending locations, just pure survival, killing a specific target, or dealing with infestations that crop up on various planets in the game. And all the maps are procedurally generated as far as I can tell. They're basically made of various sections that are sort of put together. So you'll recognize the sections, but they won't always be put together the same way, which for the most part keeps things interesting. And these are just the sections where you run around in your Warframe. There's a whole other section where you unlock an Arcwing. As you progress through the game, you'll unlock parts and you'll basically craft an Arcwing, which is basically some kind of an exoskeleton suit, which allows you to do missions set in space and you fly around. And the combat in these sections feels very much like Strike Suit Zero, for those of you guys who have played that. And it does add some variety to the game when you feel you need a break from the frantic hacking and slashing craziness that goes on the normal levels of the game. If the footage hasn't convinced you, I have to say that this is the most rewarding combat I've experienced in a game for a long time. But you know, it doesn't end there. Once you finish your mission, you return to your ship, and yes, you have a ship. And on your ship you can choose what mission you want to do next. So each planet has sectors, and killing the bosses of those planets will unlock new planets, and so on and so forth. And all the sectors are sort of level ranged and level based depending on what level you are or your weapons are. And there are 14 planets in the game, and I think I've unlocked about 7 so far. Okay, so I mentioned mods earlier. Mods are items that you can put into your Warframe or your weapons, and they add a variety of different effects into the items. So more damage, elemental damage, faster attack speed, reload speeds, and that kind of thing. Even as far as in giving you more energy or giving you more health, or your shields can absorb more damage and this kind of thing. There are a massive number of these in the game. So your playstyle is going to be complemented by the selection of mods that you choose to equip your Warframe and your weapons with. So everything in the game can be leveled up. Your Warframe, your weapons, your mods, the Sentinels and Kubros, which are basically the two types of companions you can get in the game. And as your gear levels up, it increases in capacity and can hold more mods. More mods means more power, and eventually everything is going to max out at level 30. There are also mastery levels, so as you level up in each of these, more features and functions become available in the game. And in order to level up your mastery levels, you basically have to level up. So once you've maxed out all your weapons or your Warframe, you're going to have to buy a non-level weapon and rank that up. And you're going to have to sort of buying different weapons, trying out different weapons, and as you rank those up, you'll gain more points into your mastery levels. And as you get enough to rank up in a mastery level, you'll be put to a challenge. Once you've done the challenge, you'll rank up and then have more features available to you. And you get more powerful, you're going to do more missions. So this is the basic gameplay loop of Warframe. You play a mission, you'll get loot, you'll level up your weapons and your mods, you'll do harder missions to get better loot to level up your weapons until you start getting high-end gear and endgame gear. Now I haven't reached the endgame yet, so I can't talk so much about that, but it's been a blast so far up until now. The question you guys are probably asking is, what's the business model of the game? Since it is free to play after all, there must be some kind of catch. So let's talk about that. There are two types of currency in the game. There are credits and there's platinum. Platinum is the currency that you buy with real money, and it's used to buy a variety of cosmetic items, weapons, new Warframes, XP boosts, or even to rush crafting. However, these weapons and Warframes that can be bought straight out with platinum can also be crafted. So you can actually buy the blueprints for in-game currency, which you can earn from playing the game. And then you'll have the crafting components, which you also earn by completing missions and loot. And then you can craft these items. Now, all of the crafting in the game is time-based. So once you've farmed all the materials, it can take anywhere from 8 to 24 hours. I believe it goes higher in some cases to finish craft these items that you've started. And some of the blueprints for better items will require farming harder areas of the game to get, or leveling up in syndicates, which is a type of faction that you join, or having access to a clan hall with upgrades, or acquired via alert missions, which are missions that appear on a daily basis throughout the day, and some of these blueprints can only be acquired on these missions. Or there's daily rewards as well, so every time you log in you get a reward, and it could potentially be a blueprint for one of these particular weapons or Warframes. So there are a ton of aesthetic stuff to be found in the game. There's some kind of customization for just about everything in the game, from your Warframe, your weapons, your ship, and even your pets. Now, most of the platinum purchases outside of the cosmetic stuff are purely time savers and will allow you to skip things that would otherwise consume time and or resources. So, you don't want to wait for a sword to be crafted, just buy it outright. Or the crafting is take too long, just rush the crafting. Or you don't want to farm to get Warframe blueprints and then have to craft all the pieces, just buy it outright. I haven't seen any kind of blatant pay to win here, at least not in my 75 hours with the game so far. Though there are two things that can only be purchased with platinum. There's no way to get them any other way. When you start the game, you have two Warframe slots. One will be the one you selected when you started the game, and you have space for a second Warframe. If you want more slots than that, if you want to have more than two Warframes, you are absolutely going to have to spend platinum to unlock further slots. Secondary is the weapons. You have 8 weapon slots when you start, I believe. If you have filled up those weapon slots, you won't be able to craft any more weapons. So you're either going to have to sell a weapon that you've leveled up, or you're going to have to buy new slots, which can only be bought with platinum. Now, there is a way to earn platinum in the game, not directly by playing the game, but by farming weapons and sets and mods. You can then go to the marketplace and sell these to other players, because platinum is a tradable resource in the game as well. So that will be the only way that you can earn platinum without actually spending any money. But all in all, I think the model is pretty good. I've had a lot of fun in this game. If you do enjoy this kind of thing, as I said before, some people did find it kind of grindy, but you know, I think that grind is relative to how much you enjoy the gameplay loop. If it doesn't feel like a grind and you're enjoying what you're doing, then, you know, is it really a grind? But I suppose that's a discussion for another time. As I said, I've spent about 75 hours with the game so far, and I think I'm just on the tip of the iceberg, to be honest. But up until now, I'm having a blast with the game. Me and my friends climbing in, just, you know, being badass ninjas. There is so much to this game, I don't think it's possible to go over absolutely everything in one video, and I've almost certainly forgotten to mention something. The one complaint that I do have, though, is that the systems in this game are not explained very well at all. The tutorial is kind of sucky, to be honest. I've spent a fair amount of time reading up stuff on the in-game codec or in the wikis or on the forums, and I think that's something that you need to do to get the most out of this game. And I do think that's a bit of a shame, because this is going to put a lot of people off. You know, you climb and you go, what is all this? I don't understand. What should I be doing now? But if you can get over that hurdle, I do think there's a lot to be had here. So for those of you who are interested in trying out the game, I've put a link in the comment section below. If you sign up using the link, you'll get a 7-day XP boost, which will give you, which will help you level up a little faster if that is something you are interested in doing. And I think chances are I'll probably be making some kind of beginner's guide. There's a lot to take in with this game, as I said, and it's not very well explained. And even though I'm not an expert, I think that I've come to terms with enough of the systems to at least make a video for absolute beginners. I have heard a rumor that they'll be adding some new features to make this game more easy to learn, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But otherwise, that wraps it up for me. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it slightly helpful. Subscribe if you do want to see more content. If you liked it, like it. Otherwise, if you didn't, there's also a dislike button. I've been Charling. Until next time. In today's episode, we'll be taking a look at The Division for PC. So you might be asking, what is The Division? Well, The Division is a third-person cover-based looter shooter with some RPG mechanics. Hello, I'm Charling, and in this episode of What's in the Box, we'll be taking a look at the PC version of Far Cry Primal. For those of you who are wanting to see the options and performance in the game, you can check out the other video that I made on the channel for more details.